So, my name is Ashante Winston, and the health issue that I chose for my brochure and my presentation was diabetes. I chose diabetes because, for one, it has a high mortality rate and high morbidity rate amongst African American communities. And like I said again before, I didn't say amongst Black people because I believe that um, it's not really a racial issue, it's more of a cultural issue that happens to be affected among Black people. I also chose diabetes because my little sister we just found out that she was pre-diabetic, and diabetes doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't really, I've learned that diabetes sometimes doesn't have to be a huge issue that runs in your family. It has a lot to do with your diet and over time. Um, and also, I chose it because it was something that's part of our culture that we're still trying to figure out, and we're still trying to find solutions and reasons. And it is the very same thing that my ancestors fought to survive, which was surviving on scraps, for surviving on the leftovers from from the big house. And we turned it, and it's beautiful that my people, my ancestors, my family, my extended family turned something so ugly, so scrap, and turned it into a traditional meal that a lot of African American people eat and celebrate each year. And so I think that's beautiful that we are very creative, even through the most tough times. But I also believe that we had lost focus on the true meaning of soul food, and then what our true soul food really is to us, and the real definition of moderation. And so, and that's why I chose diabetes, because it really starts on, I mean, a lot of it could be genetic, and I'm not a doctor or a physician or anything like that, but I do believe that a lot of African American health issues are really started by diet, and mental health. Those in behavioral things in the gap between communities, and that's another issue that brings on heavy eating and poor diet is that no sense of community, not having that community, having that gap in health disparities, is why I chose to really focus on diabetes. And so how I chose to attack diabetes, which is by dance. And I believe that African American people were so culturally in tune with music and dance and rhythm and beat, that it is something that is engraved in our DNA. It is something that keeps our heartbeats going, something that we sing about, we talk about, we laugh about, we cry about. It's something that brings somehow the community still together. And that's why I decided to use a program that will still offer that sense of community, which is dance. And dance and music seems to always be one of the first platforms to get African American people. I mean, you think about concerts, you think about shows, you think about anything that has to do with dance music, in a very large setting, African American people are going to support. And so, but this dance program is not going to be just offered to adults. It's also going to be offered to young teens and children, because I believe that those are the ones that are affected. For example, I remember I just now started, it's been a year now that I started just eating plant-based meat, turkey here and there, maybe chicken here and there. But before I decided to go on this path, I was eating beef, pork, or whatnot. But I realized is that at the end of the day, it was not my fault, and it's not my parents' fault. And I realized that a lot of children are living in these households where they can't have a say so on their diet. They can't control what their parents cook or what their parents could afford. And so by the time it's too late, they're already set to be pre-diabetic or hypertension or cholesterol. Um, all these other things, depression and all these other health issues. And so that's why I made sure that I include children into this program. And why African dance? Well, African dance was the first rhythm of bringing my people and my ancestors together to dance, to exercise, to believe, to get better, to believe in something, in hope. And so that's why I chose African dance, because African dance offers something more than just hip hop dancing. And though hip hop dancing has its own realm, I believe that African dance offers something much different, something much traditional, something much unique to the spirit. And that's why I chose it, because it's something different in here in certain areas like Oklahoma. There's not a lot of African dance classes that offer those plyometric body weight training that deals with obesity, that deals with all these diabetics, hypertension, that deals with stress, that deals with mood, that deals with mental behavior. And that's what African dance will do. It will offer so much fluidity and circulation between the spirit, the body, and the mind. And also just the African meditation will also be offered into this program, because I believe that African American people need more meditation, need more fluidity within our lives and within ourselves, because our bodies are already built with muscle. As you see, our bodies are naturally muscle, which makes our arteries naturally tight. And that's why we are so reluctant. We're so reluctant. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, but we're so vulnerable to be diagnosed with hypertension or high cholesterol or stress, because our body makeup it's designed to be very constrict, and so that I think it's important that we continue to release the mind, body, and soul and spirit in order to live a more healthier, free, adverse, and family engagement life. And that's another reason why I created this. So the diabetic program, Dancing Your Diet Off, or Dancing Your Diabetes Dancing Off, or something like that, I created it because, two, it brings family together. And it brings that family together, family engagement. It brings those community together. And that's something that I learned about diabetes. But most importantly, like I said before, is that health, diet, and mental behavior is one of the most causing things in communities like where I come from. And this chapter has taught me a lot. This chapter has taught me a lot about being more conscious of the things that I eat, the things that I don't understand, and the people that the other African American people, or the other melanated people, or Aboriginal. I do believe we're all Aboriginal. To understand is that that it is going to take time to get to where we need to be, and that we should not judge for those who are not conscious enough or don't understand at the time of the true meaning of African American health, the true meaning of so many things. But a lot of that I feel goes back to education, and it goes back to knowledge, and it goes back to family dynamics. And that's why that in order to conquer health issues, I think that we have to conquer family issues, because without health issues, without family issues, there's going to, with family issues, there are going to be health issues. And if you live in a toxic family household set, you're going to have bad health issues. And so I believe that educating young children, your kids, educating yourself as parents about the true meaning of African American health, the true diet of African American health, the true medicine of African American health, the true mental health of African American health, the true education of African American health, the true consciousness of African American health, the true belief of African American health. And so I believe that it's important that you know thyself, know oneself to understand others around you, so that you'll be able to teach them, and it's important, and I can go all day, but I believe that it's important to really teach our children the real history of a lot of things, such as the HeLa cells. I can only imagine how many African American young doctors who want to be doctors, who want to be in the health field, don't know about her. And I can only imagine they will never know who she is. And then I think that's really important and a huge issue. And that starts with our community educating our kids in the truth of African American health, because once we conquer the truth of our health, we are able to develop and build and come together and build hospitals on the Northeast side, build gyms and health wellness centers on the Northeast side, build grocery stores that are black owned on Northeast side, and that these all are working together like in chains. We're all linked together, building clinics on the Northeast side, and I cannot wait to see the day, or hopefully that day will come, where we have a black owned hospital on the Northeast side, or clinic, or emergency hospital on the Northeast side that will provide the excellent, service for African Americans. And I can't wait to see the day where you have physical therapists and nurse aides and all these people signing contracts of so many people in the same industry, in the same field, going to those far locations that white people don't want to go to, like Spencer, like the Bowling, like Dungee. These are things that once we start really communicating and connecting with ourselves and the people around us, then we will start to see a greater change in our communities and most importantly ourselves. And so that's why I think that learning about diabetes, learning about hypertension, learning about mental health, also developing plans, health fitness plans, and of release inmates. Well, I wouldn't like to call them inmates. Just release African American men and women who fell short of the bargain, who didn't have the necessary rules and the guidance that led them there in the first place, and creating a program for them. Now, would that be enough? No. But like I said, I think it's important that we continue to look towards back at our community and not be so afraid to invest in our community because of what white majority people have said. And we have let the white men tell us a lie that we cannot support each other. And then we allow them to socialize. We allow them to socialize it on worldwide social media platforms, believing that we cannot support each other. But the truth is that the support is there, but we have to be conscious enough to believe that it will always be there. So thank you for this time and allow me to express how thankful this course has definitely changed my perspective on the medical field and the health field, the things that I will run into one day, the things that I have run into countless of times. You have definitely encouraged me to do better, to do more, and to stay always connected to my roots. And whether I go further or far away, or whether I'm in all white corporations or institutions, I will never forget that I'm always masterminding my ability to understand the African American health and the African American roots of research and data that will still be a struggle to get to the bottom of what the issues of African American health are. Thank you. You have a blessed night.